Hi guys, this is Corey from Plaza Fitness Performance, and I am so excited. You're watching the 5 secrets to instant strength gains. You cannot believe how many clients we see that just don't practice strength. They're not practicing what it takes to be strong. That increases their risk for injury. That decreases their ability to be successful with anything that they move. So whether it's a current client of ours or whether it's a brand new client, obviously there's a tremendous amount that goes into being strong. And it's okay if you don't know, because you're not born with this stuff. You have to learn. You have to practice, and you have to continue to practice and continue to practice. You're not going to get good at free throws unless you practice free throws over and over and over again. So in order to get good at something, you need to know, you need to understand it, you need to execute it and practice it. So this is our 5 secrets to instant strength gains. Autumn, you'll be stronger like that. You just got to know what to do. There are a few benefits to this that you should be aware of. Number 1, you're going to enhance your lean muscle mass. Number 2, you're going to improve your metabolism. Number 3, there's going to be a change in your percent body fat if you enhance your lean muscle mass and affect your metabolism. Well, your performance is going to go up. Number 4, you're going to be able to do whatever it is that you do better. It could be running, it could be, tennis, basketball, golf. I don't care what it is. Lifting your son or daughter, it doesn't matter. Your performance will improve. Number 5, your bone mineral density is going to improve. If you get that checked periodically, that's something that's going to change. Number 6, back pain. If you are stronger and more stable, specifically around the spine, your core, you're going to have less back pain. You're going to be basically more injury resilient, which isn't even on my list. So that's a huge one, more injury resiliency. Number 7, you're going to have more confidence. People who are stronger are more confident. And number 8, you're going to have enhanced vitality. You're going to be vibrant. You're going to be just, everything in the world is going to change. So I think it's kind of worth it to be strong. But that's just me. So I think you're going to enjoy this. Take a look, the 5 secrets to instant strength gains. Drum roll, please. And now the 5 secrets to instant strength gains. Number 1, direct tension. Okay, so let's go over direct tension. For our purposes, we are going to define direct tension by the pressure that is created on the object, like the handle, something that you are grabbing a hold of. In this case, it could be a kettlebell deadlift. In this case, it could be a trap bar deadlift. So whether I'm doing a press, whether I'm, whatever it is that I might be grabbing, if we talk about direct tension, there's always going to be an improvement in strength with tension. There's also going to be a reduction in the risk of injury. So we really want you to get tension. In this case specifically, it's the direct tension that's placed upon, like for instance, a handle. So if I'm doing a single kettlebell deadlift, I'm not trying to necessarily emphasize all the points having to do with executing this properly. However, neutral spine, foot placement, all that type of stuff. But really the emphasis on this particular video is to emphasize the crushing of the hands. So you would grab a hold of the kettlebell handle, crush as tight as you can, execute the movement. And by crushing the handle, all the muscles that are connected through the system help you become stronger. Again, you'll operate more like a system when you create that direct tension. You'll be stronger, you will reduce the risk of injury. So again, the same type of an example, except for using a different tool. It's a trap bar. So I get my hands placed appropriately. You're going to crush that handle and drive. So direct tension is a key. When you put all of these keys together, you've got an incredibly safe and effective exercise. Number 2, indirect tension. Let's go over indirect tension. So you just went through the direct tension video, talked about the handle crushing the object and the irradiation that creates, the improved safety and reduced risk of injury. So now let's go over kind of the opposite, which would be the indirect tension. So indirect tension, again, for our purposes, in terms of defining it, as simply as we can, so that what you're doing is as effective as possible, as quickly as possible. The indirect tension are the muscles that are not connected directly to the handle. It's again, a very simple definition. So in this case, if I am doing a kettlebell deadlift, instead of focusing on just the direct tension on the handle, I'd focus on the tension that I could create in the lat so that everything is all really tight, stable, strong, so that I can execute the lift as best I can, which means lifting heavier load as well as being as safe as possible. So this exercise, in terms of looking at the indirect tension, can actually be seen a little bit better from the side. So if I come down with great technique, coming down into that deadlift position, I'm going to crush the bell handle, and then instead of just crushing the bell handle, I'm going to engage these lats, pretend like you're crushing dollar bills, crushing those lats and keep everything super tight. So here it is, crush the handle, chest up, crush the lats, and execute the movement. So it doesn't just relate well to a deadlift example, could also be maybe a press, where you've got the direct tension of your press bell, but you've got the indirect tension of maybe the opposing hand with palm up to get your other lat going, as well as the glutes and the core for stability for the foundation, so that as you create a more stable foundation, the movement is not only safer, but you will be wickedly strong. So that is indirect tension. Number 3, breathing and intra-abdominal pressure. So breathing is critical, we know that. But when you are strength training, there is stability that's required to maintain the neutral spine, and potentially an enhanced stability through your diaphragm and really the inner workings of your torso, so that you can elicit the strength that you're looking for as safely as possible. And we don't encourage that you would hold your breath necessarily, but there might be a moment in time when you're executing a lift that might be fairly extensive, might be pretty heavy. There might be a moment in time where you actually, by creating all that intra-abdominal pressure, there might be a breath that could be held to enhance your strength momentarily. And then toward the end of that movement, there might be a very quick piercing exhale, kind of like a compressor. So if this kettlebell were extremely heavy, this is a 40 kilogram kettlebell. For me, it's not incredibly heavy. I might use it for patterning and things. So if this were an extremely heavy kettlebell that would require me to maybe breathe a little differently to get a little bit more strength within the movement, I could come down, grab that kettlebell, the direct tension, crush the indirect tension of the lats, a slight breath hold, creating all that intra-abdominal pressure, and a piercing exhale at the top. That is a way to enhance your strength, and it would create an instant benefit in strength. So that's intra-abdominal pressure. Again, we would encourage you to breathe, obviously, but during maximal strength, when you are trying to be as strong as possible, there is a need for enhanced stabilization of your core, and you can do that through emphasizing the intra-abdominal pressure. Number 4, posture and neutral spine. Another key to strength is neutral spine and posture. So we talked a little bit about posture in terms of the educational aspect and why it's important, but it's very important when it comes to loading movement and maintaining that neutral spine. So again, if you were taking a wall and you're putting that on your spine, you want 3 points of attachment: the head, the upper back, and the rear end. Again, just a target for us. Hopefully that is something that we could shoot for. Obviously, if you have a client that has extreme issues, getting them to that position may not be reasonable. So again, you're just doing the best you can. Think of a string being pulled from the head straight to the ceiling. That's probably the easiest and simplest way to emphasize best posture for a particular client. But posture becomes critical for any movement. So we really want you in neutral spine, as close as you can get to that. Under load, poor posture is going to be problematic. So again, from the side, if I'm doing this particular exercise, the deadlift, if I do come down over the top of it, if my posture is poor and I load the movement, that is a risk of injury that, in my opinion, no one should take that risk. So that is an absolute issue. It is the #1 concern for us in our environment. It is spine, which is why we separate the posture and neutral spine from joint centration. So neutral spine is critical. The biggest risk of injury when you're using our tools, the tools that we use every day, kettlebells, barbells, really anything that is externally loaded, the risk of injury to the spine is significant. And so we really need to minimize that through that neutral spine with whatever you do. Again, could be a squat, could be hip hinging, whatever you're in, maintain neutral spine throughout. That will help you be stronger, and it'll help you reduce the risk of injury. And number 5, joint centration. Okay, another key to instant strength gains, joint centration. So joint centration is the optimal position of a joint to elicit strength or power, and this applies to every joint, but we typically see it within like a wrist, obviously the spine, but if we try to maintain that neutral spine, improve your posture, that will help. So I'm really not targeting the spine per se in this particular conversation. Most of our clients can relate really well to a wrist as an example. So an example that I like to use, if I'm going to punch somebody, I'm typically not going to flex or extend my wrist in an extreme fashion because number one, that's not going to hurt them and it will hurt me. It'll probably break my wrist. But once I have neutral wrist position, which is a strong joint, and I apply tension, you can think of this as direct tension, then everything not only connects from a soft tissue standpoint, but from a joint and bone standpoint, everything stacks really well and it's really solid. So if I'm taking an example like a press, if I use a kettlebell, you'd want that wrist in that optimal position for the joint. And if it's flexed or extended, yeah, you will probably be able to press, but if you're in that optimal kind of, you could call it neutral position, crushing the bell, great position, and you're pressing. So joint centration is an optimal position for the joint to elicit the strength and power that you're looking for. Again, the wrist is a really great example that we see every day. That a client might be here, a client might be here, and we're looking for this. Could be similar to some type of push, some type of pull. We always want to try to maintain those positions. So that is joint centration, another key to receiving instant strength gains. So those are your 5 secrets to instant strength gains. Master those, practice those, and the benefits are yours. So this is Corey from Plaza Fitness. And remember, stay smart, stay sharp, and stay strong.